wolf. Now, you probably never heard of me, but you might have heard of my brother. His name's Big Bad. Now, there's this really mean rumor going on about him and some pigs. And I just wanted you to know it's all wrong. Nobody has ever heard the real story because nobody has ever heard of his story. This is the true story of the Three Little Pigs by a wolf.
I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf, but you can call me L. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. But, like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing, that's all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back, and once upon a time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold. I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to my neighbor's for a cup of sugar. Now this neighbor, he was a pig. And he wasn't too bright either. He had built his house out of straw. Can you believe that? Who in their right mind would build a house out of straw? So of course, I knocked on the door, and the minute I did that, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into somebody's house, so I called, "Little pig, little pig, are you in?" No answer. I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. While I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed a great big sneeze. And you know what? That whole darn house fell down. And right in the middle of all that straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw. So I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the second neighbor's house. Now this neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not by much. He had built his house out of sticks. I rang the doorbell. Nobody answered. I called, "Mr. Pig, Mr. Pig, are you in?" He yelled back, "Go away, Wolf! You can't come in! I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin!" I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt a sneeze coming on. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed, a great sneeze. And you're not going to believe it, but the guy's house fell down right on like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was a second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now you know, food will spoil if you leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little bit better. And I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear Granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family. He had built his house out of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No one answered. I called, "Mr. Pig, Mr. Pig, are you in?" And you know what that rude little porker answered? "Get out of here, Wolf! Don't bother me again!" Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole satchel full of sugar, and he wouldn't give me even one little cup. And I needed that one little cup for my dear sweet Granny's birthday cake. What a pig! I was just about to go home and make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed once again. Achoo! And the third little pig yelled, "And your old Granny can sit on a pin!" Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fella. But when somebody talks about my Granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course I was trying to break down that pig's door. And the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real big scene. The news reporter found out about the 2 pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going on to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed it up the story with all that huff and puff and blow your house down. And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. The real story. I was framed. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar. Happy Halloween!